Hi students. So today we will be discussing the concept of the delegation. I know that you all love to listen the story. So it is story time. This story is about a manager whose name is Aman Chandrasekhar. Correct? So this person means the Aman. He was studying MBA from a very reputed institute. So he completed his course and then he started his own startup. Okay, so he established the very good organization and he was very confident about his capabilities. So he decided to handle the entire work single handed. As you can see that all the works he is having, and he is saying that all the five must be approved by me. But you know what happens? Peon is standing here with the slip that boss is busy. He keeps on saying this, and then people, the client, see how eagerly they are waiting for him to meet. They may be having some work to talk about. So what happens that there was delay in the decision making. Like you can see that how impatient he is because he must be waiting for a longer period of time. He is seeing his watch, right? And these two people are also waiting. But as this Aman is very intelligent fellow, so soon he realized that he desperately needs to hire an assistant. Correct? So he appointed Swam Agrawal as a coordinator. Correct? So once Swam Agrawal was appointed, it was necessary to give him sufficient authority so that he could carry out his work efficiently and effectively, isn't it? So now here it becomes very important to appreciate the fact that the authority which was given to Swam Agrawal was actually a part of authority that Aman enjoyed in the organization. You agree with me? Okay. So over a period of time, as the workload increased, here also you seeing that the workload of the Swam Agrawal is also increasing now, and business is growing. So now Aman had to appoint two more person, right? Reshu and Dia as executives, and both of them were expected to work under Swam Agrawal. Getting? So here again it is important to appreciate the fact that the authority that was given to Reshu and Dia was actually derived as a part of authority that Swam Agrawal enjoyed. Yes. So whenever a manager shares some of his work with his subordinate, at the same time he needs to also share part of authority as well. As you can see here, is giving it to another person so as to enable the subordinate carry out the assigned task appropriately. Correct? And this process of assigning some of his authority to the subordinate is called as delegation, right? So we can say delegation means assigning work to others and giving them authority to do it. Correct? Or we can say that the delegation of authority is a process by which a manager shares some of his work and authority with his subordinate. Correct? See, you must be agree with me that like Aman, any manager, no matter how capable he or she is, he cannot manage to do every task on his own. So the overload of work makes it impractical for him or her to handle it all by himself or herself. So in order to ensure that all work is accomplished and the organizational goals are achieved successfully, he or she must delegate authority. Correct? So delegation refers to transfer of authority from superior to subordinate. Correct? Or we may say that the entrustment of responsibility and creation of accountability for performance, which helps a manager to extend his area of operation, as without it his activities would be restricted to only what he himself can do. So we may say that delegation is a prerequisite to the efficient functioning of an organization, right? Because it enables the manager to use his time on high priority activities. It also satisfies the subordinates' need for recognition and provides them with opportunity to develop and exercise initiative. Correct? Like here you can see that this manager has given his work of presentation to another person, one person, right? Like this manager has given the delegated his work to take care of all his communication, the like mail, and all those things will be done by another subordinate. Same way, this man has been given the responsibility to plan, right? His day to day activities, how this he will do everything. So there is one, you can say, assistant or the personal secretary who will take care of his all the planning. Then this person is there who will take care of all his calls. Whosoever is calling him, first she will receive, will ask that what is the purpose of calling, and then the call would be transferred to this manager, right? Same way the production things can be taken care by this person. Actually he is responsible to do everything. So he has delegated some of his authority to these different people, and now he can do that work which is more important for him. Usually the normal work, day to day work, has been given to his subordinate. Correct? See, if we don't delegate, then what will happen? That the entire burden will be on the manager. Correct? And if you delegate the authority, right, then there are people to take care some of your part, but still you have to be there. This is the main element of the delegation of authority. You cannot remove your hand even if you are just putting this finger on only, but you have to be there to support it, right, as a manager. This point would be more clear when we'll discuss further. Yes, this is very important, that delegation does not mean abdication. Abdication is what? Like, see here the situation. Delegation is manager is there. He's saying that I am with you as you are not having so much work to do, but you just take this part also and you do it. That is taking work. When the subordinate is also happily taking the work from the manager. Correct. This is called as delegation. Abdication is what? Let's see, he is too much busy now, right? He is overburdened and this manager is completely free. He has just surrendered all his work and given to this person. So this is not the right thing. This is not the meaning of delegation. Actually, the word abdication is what? You must have heard this into the story. Like I would like to I'm just showing here a link. You see the story. This is the story of the Shivaji when he was overburdened with the work of his kingdom, and he went to his guru and what he did. So you just see this story, then you will understand the this word abdication is renouncing the throne. Throne is what? You see the story, you will understand it. It does not mean that you have to resign, you have to retire, or you need to renunciation. You are not supposed to give up, or you cannot surrender those things. Still, you would be responsible even if you have given the authority to your subordinate. So it is about that. So this word would be more clear. Just I am putting here a link. You go through the link and see the story. You will enjoy it. Like here, he thought that I should renounce the throne. That should not happen here. Okay. Hope you have seen the story. Now let us come back. Lot of entertainment you have. Can you see here that what is being done? See, if you have given something to your subordinate, it does not mean that you are now free. the authority granted to a subordinate can be taken back, right? And it can be redelegated to another person if you are not fulfilling it. Like here he is showing that he has he was delegated the authority, he also delegated this authority to his subordinate. That should not happen. And even if you have delegated your authority, then you will be accountable for the same. This also you should remember. Now there is a very famous quote about which was given by the Lewis Allen. He said that delegation is the entrustment of responsibility and authority to another and the creation of accountability for performance. So if we go to analyze this statement of Lewis Allen's, that brings to light the following essential elements of delegation, right? So what are these elements? Responsibility, authority, and accountability, right? So now we are going to talk about these elements of delegation. These are the three elements of delegation which we have taken from the definition of Lewis Allen. Okay, now let me explain you that what is authority. Authority is defined as a power, or you can say the right. It is delegated or given. So in this sense, the person or company that hires a leader, they give them the authority, right, to manage or direct a particular operation. So it is expected that this individual will exercise the full scope of his authority to properly, profitably, and professionally to manage the operation. So this is called as authority. Correct? Now let us understand that what is responsibility. So responsibility can be defined as a you can say a particular burden of obligation. You may not use the word burden. You may say that a particular obligation upon a person who is responsible. So responsibility is defined as answerable or accountable as for something within one's own power or control. So a leader is responsible and has responsibility for the operation for which he or she has been given authority. Correct? Now let us understand that what is the meaning of accountability. It can be defined as subject to the obligation to report, to explain, or to justify something, right? Or you can say that being answerable, that is being accountable. So a leader is answerable for the performance of the operation for which he has authority and responsibility. Correct? So now I know that there may be little bit confusion between these three. We will make it more clear one by one. Let us understand that what is authority. So authority basically refers to the right. You can say that it is the right of an individual to command his subordinate. Correct? It also refers to the right to take decision. It is about telling people that what to do. Like this man will say these two people that what they have to do. This person will say to these two people that what they have to do. So similarly like this. And obviously it arises from the established scalar chain. We can see that in a formal organization, authority arise or originate from an individual's position. It also refers to right to take decision due to your managerial positions. Correct? And naturally the authority would be highest. Can you see here? At the top level of management, right? The person who is at the top, he would be having more authority. These three people would be having less authority. It's very clear. So authorities flows from top to bottom, right? It will move like this. Getting it? See, understand it. Authority does not mean like this. You cannot give the instruction like this. So what actually it is? It is a relationship that will help to maintain the order in the organization. So where the manager is giving the exact obedience and is giving the direction to the workforce under them, who are working under them. Correct? You cannot speak like this. It is not the right way. So authority is about relationship. Authority is about having a better communication, right? So again, I would show you here this what is said here. She is saying that, what do you mean? We don't communicate. I sent you email on Monday, right? So where what kind of communication is needed? You know, where verbal communication is needed, you cannot depend fully on email. So we need to take care of this. Now this is also very important that this authority part would be determined by the personality of the superior. Yes, one more thing which we must understand here, that the authority is restricted by laws and rules and regulation of the organization. That makes the limit of its scope. But as the you will go up in the hierarchy of the management, the scope of authority will increase. Right? We can understand this through this example. See here, the authority is more in case of top management, and authority flows down in the organization. Like from top management, it will come to middle level management, then middle level management to supervisory level of management, or first line management is also known as operative level, or you can say the lower level of management. This you have studied in during levels of management. And then these management will convey the authority, they can delegate the authority to the employees. So it moves like this, correct? So it flows down from top to down. Now let us understand that what is responsibility. One thing is very clear, authority always flows downward, as you have seen it, and responsibility will always flow upward, as you can see here. Like, who is responsible? The workers are responsible to the lower level of management. Lower level is responsible to middle level of management. Middle level management is responsible to the top level, and top level will have the authority more. They will give authority to middle level will give authority to lower level. So this one thing is should be very clear, authority and responsibility will go up like this, and authority will go down like this. Clear? Now let us understand that what is responsibility. It is actually the obligation of a subordinate to properly perform the assigned duty, means the duty given to them. And obviously it also will originate from the superior subordinate relationship, because subordinate is bound to perform the duty which has been given by his superior, correct? And it flows upward, means the subordinate is responsible to his superior. This is the meaning. Yes, one more thing which is very important here, that if a subordinate has been given the responsibility for a job, he must be given the authority also. So if he is not having the authority, he would find it very difficult to fulfill his responsibility, right? You must have studied this in the principles of management, authority and responsibility. There should be a parity between this. You cannot, like, if you are not giving the authority, without giving authority, you cannot make him responsible. You cannot say that you did not do this work if you are not giving the authority, correct? So if authority granted is more than the responsibility, naturally it will lead to misuse of authority. We have studied it. I'm just reminding it to you. And if responsibility is more, the authority, if responsibility is more than the authority, then the person may be ineffective. So there should be a proper balance between authority and responsibility. Now let us understand that what is accountability. Now this manager is saying that now you are the in charge of this project. A project has been given to this manager, right? So now he would take care of this particular project. He would be whole soul, all in all of this project. So basically, when accountability is being created, so this is obviously for the performance. It is being created for the performance of that person. One thing which is very important in accountability, that he is making him in charge. This is correct, true, but simultaneously he is saying that I am here if you need me, right? So I am not doing abdication. I am not surrendering everything to you. So I would be there with you. Whenever accountability is given, the responsibility lies with the person who is giving this, right? So you may have given the authority to this person, but then also the responsibility in an responsibility would be with you also. So basically, accountability means being answerable, right? Or you can say that once any authority has been delegated and the responsibility accepted, means the person say that yes, the right which you have given me, I accept it. Now you cannot deny the accountability. Means you would be answerable if something goes wrong. Yes, one more thing, that accountability cannot be delegated. Accountability would be with the person who is responsible to do that, and it flows upwards. Means the subordinate will be accountable to a superior for doing the satisfactory work. And it also indicates that manager had to ensure the proper discharge of duties so that their subordinate are doing properly the duty. This is also very important. Now there may be a question that how we can ensure that there is a proper accomplishment of goal. So we may develop a regular feedback system on the extent of that how much work has been completed. That we can do through regular feedback. And subordinate would be expected if there is some non-performance of the work or something has been done which is not desirable. You could not do something. Whatever is your action, you may have to explain it. So this is very, very important aspect of the accountability. That if something happens, something goes wrong, so you would be held accountable for that. Like you were given the authority and you have taken the responsibility to do it. Suppose the work could not be done. Now you have to explain the answer. You have to explain the reason why it could not take place. Now let us understand the difference between these three: authority, responsibility, and accountability. Correct? First, we should go with the meaning. If it has been asked that define the meaning of the word authority, you may use this word right to command, or you can say the power to take decision, right? That would be as authority. Responsibility is what? Is it the obligation to perform the particular or the assigned task, given task. So obligation you need to remember here, this word, and here right or the power. And in accountability, you must remember this word answerability for the outcome of the assigned task, right? What was expected from you, like you have been given authority to produce 500 units and you could produce only 400 units. So why you could not produce that 100 units, you would be answerable for that, right? Now there is another way how we can compare these three things, that is on the basis of delegation, right? So if you say that can we delegate authority, answer is yes, authority can be delegated. If you ask that can we delegate responsibility, the answer is up to a certain extent only. So you cannot delegate it entirely. Correct? Then if you talk about the accountability, can accountability be delegated? The answer is complete no, because it cannot be delegated at all. The person who is responsible will remain accountable also. Now you may compare it on the basis of origin, right? So how does it arise? Means who, how you get the authority? It arises from the formal position, right? If you are the senior manager, you are the superior in the organization, naturally you will have more authority. The subordinate will have less authority. So how does it come? Authority comes from the formal position, your post. Responsibility, how it arises? It arises from the delegated authority, right? Authority has been given, that's why you are responsible now. You have been given something to do, and that's why you are responsible. Now if you have to ask that how accountability arises, it arises because of responsibility, correct? So can you see now that authority comes from the formal position, the position you hold, and responsibility come from the authority, right? And accountability comes from the responsibility, correct? So in this way we can establish the relationship between these things. Now if you have to understand the flow of it, how we will say that it flows downward, like this way. It will come from the superior to subordinate. And if it is asked that how responsibilities flows, it goes upward, like the subordinate would be responsible to his superior, and same way accountability is also upward, like this, like the subordinate would be accountable to his superior. So these are the clear cut comparison between these three. And now I hope that now these three words means the elements of all the delegation is very clearly established in your mind, right? Hope you have got the concept very well. If we have to conclude this entire discussion, we can say that authority is delegated, responsibility is assumed, accountability is imposed, and responsibility is derived from authority. Accountability is derived from responsibility, right? So, with this conclusion, we can clearly establish the relationship between authority, responsibility, and accountability. Correct? Okay, now it is the time to take the challenge. The challenge is that you have to make a very nice story, or you can say the case study. It may be imaginary, it may take it from any real event also which has happened in the corporate world, and you have to explain this delegation of authority properly using this authority, responsibility, and accountability. Correct? So you make your own case study, make your own story, and tell me that where it is authority, where it is responsibility, and how it is being talked about the accountability, as well as you have to explain the delegation of authority also there. Okay, okay, and believe me, this time there would be one gift also for the person who would be giving me the best story, best case study. Okay, so let us enjoy it. Okay, now let us talk about the importance of delegation. When we say that what is the importance of the delegation, we can say that delegation actually ensures that the subordinate perform tasks on behalf of the manager, thereby reducing the workload and providing him with more time to concentrate on important matters, right? So effective delegation will lead to certain benefits, and these benefits are: the first benefit is that effective management. You will have a better management. What is it? In the delegation process, what happens that the manager passes routine work to the subordinate. You agree? So they are free to concentrate on other important matters. So the main job of managers is to what? To get the work done effectively. By delegating the authorities and responsibilities, managers can get the work done effectively and efficiently from their subordinate. So management would be effective. by delegation. Second benefit of the delegation is that employees get a chance to their own development. So as a result of delegation, what happens, the employee get more opportunities to utilize their talents. You agree? So it will allow them to develop their own skills, which help them to perform better those tasks which they have been given. So delegation actually helps in making a better future managers by giving them chance to use their skills, gain experience of work related to the higher job positions. Third thing is that it motivates the employees, isn't it? It happens with you also, no? Like if the teacher gives you a task, a work which is supposed to be done by the teacher normally, like monitor has been asked that, okay, do you take the attendance today? Like principal has called the teacher, he is going out of the classroom and says that, monitor, you please take charge and you do this. So you feel motivated, isn't it? In the delegation, when the manager is sharing his responsibility and authority with the subordinate, definitely it will motivate the subordinate as they develop the feeling of belongingness and trust, which is shown to them by their superior. So some employees can be motivated by such kind of non-financial incentive. You may call it that delegation is a non-financial incentive for the employees. Correct? Yes. Delegation will facilitate in the organizational growth also. As you can see that the employees are if developed, the subordinate is developed, all are developing. Naturally, this will lead to development of the organization also. Like as you can see here, in the process of delegation, when the manager are passing their responsibility and authority to the subordinate, so they keep in mind the qualification and capability of that particular subordinate, right? So this will lead to naturally the division of work, and specialization will come there, so which is very important aspect for any of the organizational growth. Yes, delegation is actually the basis of management hierarchy. So delegation establishes superior subordinate relationship. Now, what is the relationship between them? This is being highlighted by this, which is the base for any hierarchy of the managers. No? So the extent of power delegated to subordinates, that actually decides who will report to whom, and the power at each job positions forms the management hierarchy. Correct? Yes, this is also true that delegation ensures better coordination. And when I say that it ensures better coordination, it means that in delegation, when you are systematically giving the responsibility and authority, so it is being actually divided in the employees, and they are made answerable for non-completion of task. Correct? So this systematic division of work gives clear picture of work to everyone, and there is no duplication of work, right? And the clarity is also in the duties assigned, and reporting relationship brings naturally effective coordination in the organization. Okay, now accept the challenge, and this challenge is easy. You just have to make the acronyms from the headings of importance of delegation. Okay, thank you.